Clicked record. What the fuck's? Okay, there we go. Little delay action right there. Oh well. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our lovely 5th episode of the Slams Fist Fact podcast. I am one of your co-hosts. My name is Brandon, and sitting technically either to my right or left, depending on how you view this screen, and I also don't know, stage left, right, whatever, is my co-host. He is the Boo-Boo to my Yogi Bear, the Simba to my Mufasa, and the Vito to my Michael Corleone, my co-host Rick. Rick, what's up?
Hey, boo!
Yeah.
Can I get another picnic basket?
Do you like those?
What's going on? I love them.
Yeah.
I love them.
You know why I did those?
Why?
It's because I'm your daddy.
You're ridiculous.
All three of those were sons to fathers.
I didn't know Yogi was Boo Boo's dad.
I'm assuming he is. I don't really give a shit. The other two
I just figured it's 'cause
definitely
you're
are.
old.
Huh?
I just figured it's because you're old.
Nope. Mufasa died young.
That young is very subjective.
I mean, just because James Earl Jones voiced Mufasa doesn't mean that Mufasa was actually old.
Sounded pretty old. I don't know.
It makes you feel really old. Matthew Broderick voiced Simba, and he's old.
Yeah, but not me.
Do you know who that is? Is that what that thought was?
No, it was about the me. And I know the name Matthew Broderick.
Oh, come on, dude. He's like, he was the dream.
Come on, dude.
He was like the dream of what you wanted to be in high school in the 80s. He was Ferris Bueller.
Yeah, well, I totally get that you were in high school in the 80s, but I was not.
I went to high school in 1991. Thank you very much. He's Ferris Bueller. Fun fact of the day, if you didn't know. But anyway, we have a wonderful, fun little episode today. We're going off of our beaten path of cultural influences and doing something new because why not? We wanted to try it out, and it's something that we want to talk about and something that we didn't know a lot about, so we couldn't find a lot of information. So we're probably going to end up talking about World War II anyways, so we'll see what happens. But anyway.
Should be interesting.
Yeah.
Should be interesting.
To start off, Rick, I was told there was a comment on YouTube, right? From
how great I sound?
No. It wasn't the sound quality, which we're working on. We're gonna get Rick another microphone for his birthday in April. That says that they like the drinks, but where's the alcohol? Rick, stop being boring and only saying you're drinking water. You apparently have said water in every single one of these episodes.
In my defense, I typically am drinking something else, and by the time we're ready to start recording, I've then just gone and got a glass of water.
That's true, because we did sit here, prep for our episode, and then we just talked about fantasy football for like 45 minutes.
That may have happened.
So from now on, the Slammers and the One Fister, my promise is to you that Rick will be drinking alcohol during the recordings of these videos now. We will, and that's a fact. And we're just gonna slam the fist down there, baby. But like we said, I will continue my alcohol binge once January happens, because I'm trying really hard to be healthy and still not drink alcohol until my half marathon. But anyway, this part of the show is brought to you by our good friend Kelly McGillicuddy. Kelly, hope you're doing great. Mac, saw on Instagram that either you got a dog or you just took a picture with a really cute puppy. I don't know which one it is, but either way, the animal was cute. So, Rick, what are you drinking?
Mountain Dew Zero.
Yeah. Not water.
Also on my health kick, trying to cut out regular sugary sodas. And I will say, if you're looking for a beverage that's low on soda, nothing really replaces it, but Mountain Dew Zero is pretty good.
Yeah, Mountain Dew Zero's low on soda there, Rick.
Low on sugar. Sorry. I thought I said sugar.
Yeah, low on soda is when you're finished with it. So anyway,
Yes.
I
That's
do,
when I get the water.
I don't drink soda often besides my ginger ale zeros, but I'm changing it up on y'all. I'm trying to get diabetes today. So for all of you watching
Nice.
on YouTube, you're about to get a kick about what I'm about to show you. This is my drink today. I'm drinking a 2-liter of Orange Crush soda. Rick did not know I was drinking this. I turned my camera off as I was taking every sip when we were talking on Discord. So I have a 2-liter of orange soda. I feel like Kel from Good Burger.
Keenan and Kel. Who loves orange soda?
I do. But no,
Also, if you partied with us in college, you know. That's all I'll say about that.
well, I mean, since we're talking about this is what we're drinking, for all of you out there that want to try a crazy drink on a cool, brisk winter night while you're surrounded at the bonfire or just relaxing, it's a nice, relaxing drink. If you take a 2-liter of Orange Crush and then get a fifth of freaking whatever vodka,
Strong alcohol.
yeah, just some sort of strong vodka. We used Aristocrat because it was like
Yep.
$2 for a whole liter. And then you get grape Kool-Aid mix and cherry Kool-Aid mix, and you drink half the Orange Crush or throw it away. But if you want to conserve, drink it.
Don't waste soda.
And you pour the vodka back up to fill the 2-liter. Then you put the packets in there, and you shake it all up, put it in the fridge, let it cool for a little bit, and it's a good little drink called Sweet Tart. Last time I drank Sweet Tart, well, not the last time because I drank it this year at the lake. One of the first time, this was the first time I drank Sweet Tart. I ended up waking up under our friend's car and got carried to my house by probably a soaking wet 110-pound woman named Abby. Shout out to Abby for that. Woke up in my bed, didn't have my phone, my keys, my watch, my wallet, because our good buddy drove all of that on his car home, and luckily enough, he lived across the street from Tommy, and he was like, "Tommy, I think this is Brandon's," and Tommy gave it all to me. And yeah, that was the first time I ever drank Sweet Tart. Drank 2 liters of it though, so if you do one, you'll at least remember to take your wallet home with you.
Sneaks up on you really hard, then hits you like a truck.
Yes, because it doesn't taste like soda, because the grape juice and the vodka takes away the carbonation, and it just, I mean, we call it Sweet Tart because it literally tastes like that candy. That's what it tastes like. It tastes like you're drinking sugar, so if you're diabetic, don't drink it, or at least get sugar-free. That is my health for today. Health tip brought to you by alcohol poisoning.
Flames of fact. Yeah.
But that is our drinks of the day. So from now on, Rick will be drinking alcohol during the recordings of this podcast. He is upset because it's a fact, and technically, like we said way back when, facts only last for 24 hours. But Rick also doesn't want to disappoint our viewers, so you know he's going to do it.
For the people.
For the people. For the people, by the people. Brought to you by Slam's Fist Fact. Let's start out with some This Week's in History, because that's almost the rest of our podcast. Not just This Week's in History, but we're going on a history bench today, ladies and gentlemen. Richard, bring it up.
Yeah. So I'm going to work reverse with most recent to oldest. Ready? On November 19th, 2007, Amazon releases the Kindle. So 17 years ago, Amazon released the Kindle, which really revolutionized how millions of people read now.
Dude, I love my Kindle.
And I use the Kindle app, which obviously wouldn't be a thing if the Kindle didn't exist. That's crazy, though, that it's been 17 years since that came out. What do you got?
17 years since the Kindle? I mean, I use my Kindle. My Kindle's only like 2 years old, but I use it. And you can even you don't even have to buy a Kindle anymore. You just pay for the Kindle subscription, and you can just have Kindle on your phone as an app.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just use the app on my phone.
I like my Kindle, But it is good every now and then to actually pick up a physical book because you can never beat the smell of a good book. I'm reading The Man from Mars right now, like a physical copy, not a Kindle. And it's a copy from like 1965 or whenever the guy wrote it. And it smells so good because it just smells like an old, just dirty book, you know? It's a good read. It's weird. If y'all like aliens and sex cults, it's right up your alley.
You know, for that broad viewer base.
Well, it's like two different stories. I didn't even know there was a sex cult in it yet, and I'm like 2/3 of the way done. One of my buddies has read it before, and I told him I was reading it. He's like, "Yeah, dude." He goes, "How weird is the sex cult thing that gets brought up?" And I'm like, "Don't know. I'm not there yet, you ass." So,
something to look forward to.
Yeah, for sure. You did 2007.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
that's my most recent one.
Okay, I'll start with most recent. November 22nd, 1963. That's my most recent. Ooh, throwing it out there. JFK was assassinated in Dallas in an open top limousine. He was sitting with his wife. And who was in the passenger seat, Rick? I'll give you $1 if you know. This person also got shot because one of the bullets hit JFK and then hit this guy. It's a guy, so there takes off 50% of your choices.
Not really.
I mean, yes.
I thought both front seats were Secret Service agents, so nope. I guess I don't know.
Front driver's side was a Secret Service. The guy in the passenger seat was the governor of Texas.
Oh, wow. Did not know that. What was his name?
Dude, I don't know. I just know that it was the governor of Texas. I don't know. Greg Abbott. He's the governor of Texas now, so.
So probably not.
No, definitely not. All right, that's my most recent. What's your next one?
Ooh, that tells me we don't have an overlap on one that I thought we would. So also November 19th, 1969, Pele scores his 1,000th career goal. Go!
See, I saw that one, and I didn't put it.
I really thought you might. I really thought that'd be an overlap.
The only
when
reason,
you said your most recent was 63, I was like, "Woo!"
I didn't put it. So there's two goats in soccer, right? Cristiano Ronaldo and Pele. And
whoa,
what?
To not put Messi in there is crazy.
I'm sorry. When you can score 1,000 goals, you can be up there.
Okay, when you can win a World Cup, you can be up there.
Okay, he was gifted that World Cup. Does he deserve it? Okay, listen, dude, go back and watch Argentina highlights / missed calls. They handball on like 80% of their goals.
Hey man,
there's VAR.
Messi has a World Cup.
Dubai already had a mesh thing made in his size for him to wear when he won. I'm not saying it was scripted. Oh, kind of technically, I guess I am. But listen, there's two sides to soccer in today's present time, right? You're either a Ronaldo or a Messi fan. Clearly, with all these scarves back here, I'm a Ronaldo fan. So the teams that you enjoy watching are Brazil. It's a weird. It's not always true, but most of the times it is, right? So you like Ronaldo. You think Ronaldo's the GOAT. So the teams that you enjoy watching are United, Real Madrid, and then like a national team that's not your home country, so like not America for us. You watch Brazil. I love Brazil. If you are...
I mean, how you said you're a Ronaldo fan and you still don't like watching Portugal play?
Portugal's fun. But watching Brazil play is fucking awesome. And we all know there's a tiny inside of me. If I'm watching the Europeans play for their countries, I am cheering for England. I love watching England play. And then on the other hand, you are a Messi fan. You like Barcelona. You like PSG because he played there. You probably also cheer for Man City because you just like players that get bought. And then you watch Argentina. It's just it's weird.
You like players that get bought.
It's weird. It's not like a given dynamic of that's how you have to go. But if you ask a Manchester City fan clearly who the greatest soccer player of all time is, 99% of them are going to say Lionel Messi because they hate Ronaldo because they hate United. And because of that, they like Lionel Messi. They think he's the GOAT. They watch Argentina. And then they watch Barcelona when they're not watching the Premier League. It's weird how that works, but it just happens. But
Look, most goat debates in sports, you can just go round and round and round and round. My biggest argument is I think Messi is the most skilled soccer player ever, and I think that Ronaldo is one of the most gifted athletic soccer players ever. Because if Messi was whatever he is, 6'2", and
Messi's
made of,
okay. I thought you were saying it.
no, I'm
Okay, so
saying
you're
if
saying
if he had Ronaldo's build of being 6'2", made of steel and sex appeal, Messi would be unstoppable. And I think if you shrunk down Ronaldo and gave him Lionel Messi's physical attributes, he wouldn't be as good.
Okay. I'm gonna throw it out there that Messi's not in the top 5 most skilled players ever to play.
Strikers, forwards, so all people playing forward aggressively.
Okay, that's great.
I'm not counting
Cristiano
this.
is Ronaldo is a midfielder. He only started
But
playing.
I'm saying
He only started playing
they
striker
start
about
playing
halfway through.
forward. That's why I also said forward. So you're attacking midfield and your forward wings.
So skillful players, and I know Tino's out here going to listen to this, and he can vouch for this. The most skillful soccer player to ever play is Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho was the shit. He is. If anybody says anybody like soccer skill alone is, and they don't say Ronaldinho, they're wrong.
He's definitely in your top 5. Absolutely, I agree.
Ronaldinho is number 1. There's no debate. Fact. You can't even debate it now.
Okay, I can't debate it
even
now.
debate it.
But Messi's better than Ronaldo. Fact.
That's fine. Another person that is up there and would have been able to show it better without injuries is Neymar. Neymar is super, super skillful. Probably has more skill than Messi. Messi's very fast and knows how to dribble the ball. There is more skill than dribbling the ball and shooting in soccer, Rick.
That's why I said attacking players.
And that's what I'm saying. And then I'm putting Ronaldo
what is more
up there
skillful
too.
than if you can dribble through 6 defenders and still score the goal.
It's great, but it's about foot movement and technique. It's fine. And then
Which Messi excels
and then
in
3
all
and
of those
4,
things.
3 and 4 you have the Ronaldos. You have Cristiano and Nazario. They're both great.
They are great. And Pele, I love how you haven't even put in this discussion.
Skillful, no. Pele was a great like scorer and a player, but like skillful technical wise, probably not. And then for 5, you can put
for his
Pele.
age, for his time, for his era, he was super skillful.
Exactly.
And he was
It's
dominant
like
athletic.
it's just like Bill Russell with the Celtics in the 60s. It's the same type of thing. Bill Russell won 12 championships, but you never put him in the GOAT conversation. He won 12 because he won one as a whatever. Didn't he win 12?
Nope.
He won
11 as a player and coach / player coach.
Definitely thought he won 11 as a player and then 1 as a coach player. But whatever. Either way, basketball's not my thing. As we get closer towards basketball, y'all will start understanding that better. And then 5, you can put Messi, Pele, or Nani. I'd put Nani, but that's my thing. Anyway, back to my next.
Thanks for our podcast around soccer.
Yeah. Back to my next fact, because I could talk about soccer all day. That's one of my ticks that goes off. My next one is on November 25th, which might even go into way next week after we record. So, oh no, it's next Monday, so it's fine. 1783. So we're going deep back into it because I have one more fact after this if we're going in order. Britain finally left the newly founded United States of America for good. They finally got out of New York City in 1783. We finally crushed them down into one tiny Welsh civilization, and then they left and never came back. Good riddance.
Never?
never came back to start colonies in America again.
I say I think 1812 might be after. But,
You
you
know.
know, but didn't establish another colony. You are correct.
Yes.
Okay. Well, my last this week in history is the day after JFK got shot. So 11/23/1963, first episode of Doctor Who aired in the United Kingdom.
Dude, love me some Doctor Who. That's funny. That's funny.
What a convenient release date.
Yeah. I just got into I got into Doctor Who like 2 years ago with traveling for work all the time. And I went on Reddit and I was like, correct way to watch Doctor Who, and everybody was like, "Oh, you can watch it from the 60s or because the 60s ones they didn't air too long." And then there was a huge hiatus and then it started again in the early 2000s. And they were like, "But if you just want to watch the Doctor Who lore from the 7th Doctor on, which is what everybody probably talks about," they were like, "just start here." And I was like, "Sweet. Thank you." But super,
The internet wins.
dude, super great. I love it. I want to go back and maybe watch it. I've watched through I'm only on my second Doctor right now, but it's what's his face? That makes totally sense. The one that everybody loves after the first one, God, what's his name? He played Barty Crouch Jr. in Harry Potter. You wouldn't know that because
Oh,
you haven't
yes, I
really
do, because I've watched all of them. I've watched all the Harry Potter.
Yeah, but you haven't
multiple
read them.
times.
But you haven't read them, so it doesn't matter.
Well, he didn't play it in the books.
He might have. David Tennant. So I watched the first 2 seasons, and then the thing happens to where the Doctor goes away. I can't remember what it's called. Sorry for all you Doctor Who fans out there. And then David Tennant shows up, and then that's where I stopped. But pretty good. So my last one is November 19th. So today, a few years ago, 1703, the man in the Iron Mask died in the Bastille in France.
I did see that when I was looking up, and I almost put it, and I was like, will people get that one?
Man in the Iron Mask, for all you don't know, one fantastic movie with Leonardo DiCaprio in it. I remember I watched that movie for the first time ever with my pop. He loves it. It's a great movie. I love it. I still love it. A lot of controversy around that because Louis XIV was the king of France at the time, and a lot of people think that the man in the Iron Mask was Louis XIV's older brother, who should have been Louis XIV and not Louis XIV, because all the monarchs always change their name into something weird. That's why there's 14 Louis.
Yep.
But yeah, there's a lot of controversy behind that. The man in the Iron Mask should have been the king of France, and probably would have ruled a lot better if you watch the movie. It's like, who knows? I mean, he could have been a babbling idiot for all we know in real life, but if you're going to be locked up and be more handsome and more beautiful than the actual king, and you're his twin brother, I think it was twin. I think it was supposed to be twin brother. And then you get put in the Iron Mask the whole time. Something's up with that, and didn't have the internet or a lot of things back then, so we're never going to know.
Yeah, didn't have news reporters trying to storm the castle to find it.
Yeah, people stormed out of the Bastille. Okay.
Yeah,
not in. Weird thing about the Bastille is like there's nothing left of it today.
Really?
So that
like structure from the original?
Nothing. So like the famous little statue in France, clearly not the Eiffel Tower, but like the roundabout with like the really pointy statue, and then there's what I'm talking about. It's literally like
the Arc de Triomphe until you said pointy.
It's near the Arc, so the Arc is part of it. So like that area, and then there's a couple museums on the side. That was the walls of the Bastille, and the Bastille was that big, but there's nothing left of it at all. But like it's kind of like its own memorial because it's just museums, and then that roundabout with the statue. I think that statue depicts like the Battle of the Bastille or whatever it's called. but there's nothing left of the Bastille at all.
Someone came through and was like, "This is a great place for a roundabout."
Yep. Let's put cars here. Talking cars.
Oh,
But yes, so those are this week's in history. Very, very interesting. And we've gone off on some tangents, even about soccer there for a minute, since Rick was wrong, but that's okay.
excuse me. It's a fact that Messi's.
That's true. We'll talk about it at 8:40, or I guess at 12:01 tonight.
I'll be getting a text.
So Rick and I decided to, instead of doing a current event, because there's a lot of current events that just aren't really fun right now. There's nothing real fun and exciting going on unless you really like politics, but we're not about that. So we're going to talk about politics today, except from a long, long time ago in a galaxy on this Earth.
Yep. The whole galaxy on this planet.
Yep. But we're going to go down a history tangent. So if that's not your thing, sorry, but we love it. So
Scrub ahead.
Yeah. Scrub ahead to sports. But if you're like Dalton, I'll give Dalton a shout out right now. Dalton always leaves when we talk about sports. He says he doesn't listen to the sports part. But Dalton, if you did, you'd know that I shouted out your Ultimate Frisbee team. I'm not going to tell you in what episode, so now you're going to have to listen to them all again.
Also, it's probably hard listening about sports when you're a Bears fan.
Yeah, it has to be rough. Sorry about that. R.I.P. the double doink. But one day you'll have a triple doink in your repertoire, Dalton, probably. So Rick kind of picked this topic. I like this. If we go off of it, we might as well keep it. Rick, why don't you explain what you tried to tell me earlier that I did not read correctly and was very confused. And then we'll talk about what we did. And then I was still a little confused, but I figured it out.
So one thing that, as history buffs, Brandon and I love kind of deep diving into just fun, obscure facts because a lot of stuff gets glossed over, right, in public education. So being able to kind of really try and find some sources on how things work can be really enlightening and just fun to nerd out on. And so what I thought would be fun is to actually look at how old heads of state, leaders, rulers were actually selected. And so, we know that out of all the cultures, there was a lot of different ways, but also a lot of similarities in how people actually came to power, right? And so the one I decided to kind of dive into was, how did one become a pharaoh in ancient Egypt, right? Was that just was someone randomly appointed? Turns out, no, that's not how that worked. So to give a little bit of a history lesson on this, the pharaoh was obviously the head of the state of ancient Egypt, but they're also their religious leader. And they were actually originally called the king of Egypt, but the word pharaoh in ancient Egypt actually meant great house. And so it just stuck because the pharaoh lived in the big palace and oversaw everything from their religious practices to their armies to their governing, taxes, everything. And so they just called them the Great House. And this title actually was passed down through their lineage, except there were some exceptions. So usually, because pharaohs had multiple wives, they would go to whoever was ranked as the highest wife. Sometimes it was the first, sometimes it wasn't.
Okay.
And the eldest son. Okay, what?
I'm going to stop you right there. How do you rank wives? You do most attractive?
I'm not doing that.
Smartest?
I'm not doing that.
There's only one rank here, and it's Amy. But besides
exactly, in wit.
Besides that, how do you rank wives? If I had 8, if I'm Henry VIII with my 7 wives,
they weren't all at the same time.
Neither. Yeah, Henry beheaded his wives before that. But yeah, I don't know. I wonder how they ranked wives. That'd be something. Maybe the Rosetta Stone will tell me. I got a picture of it. I'll try to read it.
That's a good call.
So a couple things that you're going to hear from us today
Mhm.
before I let Rick keep going on his thing. You might hear some weird words like hereditary rule
Oh yeah.
because or divine right, and just know we'll explain those if you hear them. Don't be
Yeah.
confused. We can explain it later. But keep going. So they rank the wives 1 through 10, and
Yep.
then that son
Typically,
always
the eldest son of the favorite highest ranked wife would take over. But sometimes that wasn't the case, which kind of proves that there must have been some type of like, this person's not fit for this. We can't select them.
yeah.
Like, we
Well,
might need to go somewhere else.
well, a lot of pharaohs not at the beginning, but later on way down the line because the ancient Egypt in general lasted a very very long time. Like
Thousands of years.
yeah, for an instance, for all the people that don't know history, like Cleopatra, super famous pharaoh. She's technically a pharaoh. Um, lived closer to right now than the building of the pyramids. If that tells you how long the ancient Egypt dynasty was.
Yep.
So yeah, Cleopatra lived about 1900 years ago. No, more than
Yep.
that.
Give or take. Yep.
Yeah, 1900. She ruled Egypt from 51 BC to 30 BC. So, and I promise I did not get that off the top of my head. I am looking at that on my phone, even though I didn't really move. If I knew that off the top of my head, that would have been some really good trivia right there. Um, but she was in BC, and that was still the Egyptian dynasty. So, they rank it back to 4 to 5,000 years ago. I'm not going to get into this tangent maybe later on, but I think it was way longer than that, in my opinion. Um, but yeah, keep going. Sorry, I love this.
Yeah, no, you're good. So sometimes other children were picked that were not the favorite wives' oldest sons. And then if a pharaoh wasn't able to have a son, then before they died, they would appoint some living relative that was male to be the next pharaoh.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are a couple of cases, and one that you just pointed out, of females being pharaohs. And typically, the reason for that was the male heir was too young to take over when the previous pharaoh passed away.
Mm-hmm.
So the woman would rule in regency or in place of the male heir until they became of age. Um, there was only a couple exceptions to that where a female actually was a ruling pharaoh for a longer span of time. But without getting too far into the weeds there, that they were almost all male, and that is kind of how it worked. But it was mostly hereditary.
Yeah, and for Cleopatra because she's a very known Egyptian person. Well, the pharaoh. She wasn't Egyptian. I think she was Mesopotamian, but I could be wrong. I know Alexander the Great was Mesopotamian, but that's not even the same thing. Well, technically it was because he took over Egypt, but they call her like family lineage a dynasty, like her rule, because it was like 20 years, but she was the only ruler in her family dynasty, which is very interesting to me. And to go off of that, she, was married, not married, she was the lover of Mark Antony, the Roman politician. And I brought up some Rome stuff that I thought was pretty cool. So Mark Antony was a leader with the Roman Empire, but the Roman Empire started uh, with my homeboy, who I'm not thinking of his name right now. What's his name? Oh, Augustus, which is Gaius Octavius. He started the Roman Empire. Roman Empire went a long time from about 60 BCE to 476 GE, which in today would be what is it, 80 or whatever.
CE.
Yeah, but it was GE back then because they used a different calendar. The
Oh yeah.
because Caesar wasn't around yet. Um, so they chose their people off of leadership qualities, and then they lied to people. This was something very interesting that I saw. So,
Wait, so they started politics?
well, pretty much. So they had kind of like how the ancient Greeks did a democracy, right? So where if you're the leader of the Holy Roman Empire, and you even if you had a son, right? But you didn't think that they could rule, you could appoint someone. And what they did with that, the emperors were chosen by the Senate on their leadership qualities. So if you, Regustus, we're going to call you in this scenario, was about to kick the bucket, the Senate would get together and they would choose their next emperor. Now, they sometimes chose like the son of that person if that son was old enough, but other times they didn't. And so if you didn't have a son, you only had like a 2-year-old son, right? Clearly, we're not going to choose them, right? Your son's probably going to be assassinated once you die, but that's okay. So say they chose me, right? Bragustus. We're going off the same names here because I can't think of anything else besides Gustus right now. Maybe I'll be Brulian Caesar. There we go. What they would do after they quote unquote voted me in, they would let everybody know, and then they would fill out paperwork to where it would make me look like I was always a part of your family, to keep like lineages going, to have that hereditary rule still. So like, even though if I had no relation to Rick whatsoever, they would put it in their little chisels, or I guess they were writing on paper by then. They would put it on their paper that like, oh, Brandon is the the son of Rick's brother's wife, and like somehow they would make it look like I still had emperor blood in me, which was
Sometimes they would legitimize it, quote
yeah,
unquote, by just officially on paper marrying you to some women relative that was actually a
or
relative.
or having you adopt me as a son.
You are my son now,
No,
Yogi.
no, no. We learned at the beginning. I'm your daddy. Um, but yeah, super interesting. And then, there was another lady that I wanted to talk about. Her name, and I am going to mispronounce this, was Boadicea or Badukia. I don't know which one. Boadicea sounds a little bit better than Badukia. She was
Paducci.
she was the wife of a leader of a Celtic tribe. Uh, his name was Prostaguus. Prostaguus. Yeah, I know, dude. Why can't they have names like Chet? I don't know why that was the first thing that popped into my head, but Chet sounds good.
But you can say it.
Yeah, but I could say it. She took over leading all the Celts, which for all you people that don't know is like Ireland and England, Upper England, like Scotland at the time. Because he died, she took over his army and took over all the Roman armies that were in England at the time. So, it's weird things. You have rulings like that are interesting, and then you have dictators that just coup up something and then they come. We have dictators today still in a good amount of like African countries, Middle East countries. I don't know if there's any dictators in South America anymore. Well, yeah. Well, no, not Venezuela, because they just overthrew him. Venezuela technically has a democracy right now, but I'm sure somewhere else. So no, everywhere else is fine in South America. Haiti, Cuba, Cuba-ish,
Yeah,
probably
I think it's
behind
more
the
democratic
scenes.
now.
More or less, even though technically a president, Russia, you could consider Russia being a dictatorship at this point, even though Putin did win the votes, apparently, allegedly.
Yeah, when no one else is alive to vote for, it's really
Yeah.
convenient.
Yeah, and you control all the voting tabs, and their state ran or government ran, but whatever.
Yeah.
But
But they're
about
counted.
yeah. But then you have people like good old Hitler. I about said our boy Hitler, but then I was like that he's not our boy.
That's a U. That's
No,
a U.
not a me thing. Um, because he didn't pick Germany. I guess he did pick Germany because he was Austrian. Just was in the right place at the right time and smart enough to do it. He became
Yeah.
chancellor. Um, President Paul von Hindenburg in 33 appointed him chancellor, and I mean Germany was such in a bad hard spot of like post World War One depression and hardships, and he gained a crap ton of popularity through like propaganda because he was voted, I think it was in 33, like Time Magazine's Man of the Year. Hitler was. It was either in like 33 or 36. But
Yeah, it was one.
but
It was
something
pretty close to
around
World War II.
it was in the 30s, and
Hmm.
I mean heck, he got Germany to host the Olympics to boost the economy. People really liked him, but he was a really bad dude. And when Hindenburg died in 34, so like a year later after Hitler worked for him forever and worked under him forever, then was chancellor for a year, Hitler was just like, hey, I've helped the economy and Germany bounce back so much. Why don't we just combine the president and the chancellor and just call it a Führer? And, you know, we all know what happened after that.
Yeah, things went from there.
Yeah, things went from there. I mean, he was super crazy. He had the Enabling Act, which pretty much dismantled any democratic structure in the German government, and he became arguably the most powerful man in the world at that point. Maybe a little bit behind Stalin. And I mean, we didn't know in the 30s America wasn't a huge powerhouse yet. We showed ourselves that we were in the 40s, but
Like we
yeah.
were obviously still an economic powerhouse, but we hadn't really. World War One was the first time we really flexed international authority or power, and
Yeah, but we
so
were only in World War One for like 9 months, maybe a
it was a short
year.
time. It was a short time.
Yeah, and then we decided not to be in the World War Two until a while after, till Pearl Harbor happened, and then we still didn't fight on the damn Europe side for a while after that
Yeah,
until
we
till we
focused on the Eastern
till
Front.
we till we took that till we stole that Mexico message, which I still believe is fake. For all you people that don't know, apparently we intercepted a message from a German U-boat to Mexico to say, "Hey man, we'll help you out." Germany speaking to Mexico, just attack Texas. Texas is what?
So that's fun because England intercepted the Zimmerman note, as it
Yeah,
became
yeah,
known,
yeah.
to then let us know that hey, we got this piece of intel
Yeah.
that says that they're gonna attack
I
you.
mean, listen, when the state motto is "Don't mess with Texas," even if the Zimmerman note was real, I don't think Mexico was attacking Texas anytime soon.
No, they're like, dude, leave us out of this.
It's like,
Y'all
dude,
got some
we're
craziness going on.
yeah, we're not doing the whole thing. Texas Rangers went down into Mexico before that and killed what's his face? What's that cowboy dude that like was attacking Texas, but he was Mexican. You know what I'm talking about? Oh my gosh. The
So
the
you
it,
got
it,
me
it was
lost
it
here.
was it was like the start of the Texas Rangers. I wonder if I Google Mexican cowboy Texas.
You're gonna get some very interesting results.
They were called the Vasqueros. And that's literally the Mexican name for cowboy. God damn it, Brandon. Um
They
oh
were
my god.
called cowboys.
Mexican cowboy who attacked Texas. Um I don't know. Doesn't matter. I mean, it does, and I'll figure it out to be determined next episode. But, dude, I can't remember his name. I keep wanting to say El Chapo, but I know that's wrong. I know who El Chapo is. El Chapo is not the Mexican
little more current.
Yeah, a little more current. But anyway, the guy attacked the cowboys in like the 1800s, and they rode into Mexico and got them. Dude. I don't know. I don't know his name. Whatever.
Fun fact about this is Brandon lived in Texas, so they're now disowning him.
Why?
Because you don't remember state
Dude,
history.
I lived where the Alamo was. I paid my respects. I am half Texan.
Yeah, but now that you don't remember this, they're going to revoke.
I disagree. I bet you go into any like mall in Texas and be like, hey, what's that cowboy that attacked Texas? They're going to go, General Santa Anna. And they're going to go, no, that was a general, sir. But yeah, that's what we do. I don't know his name, dude. I'm so sorry. So sorry. But yeah, so just super interesting ways to lead. And then clearly there's democracy. I read something that the Roman Empire on how they selected leaders with this emperor, minus the fact that they like tied the bloodlines, is more close towards our version of democracy with voting right now than the actual Greek democracy was. So like ancient Greece you'd vote somebody in, right? Say we voted anybody from Greece. Say that Socrates became the emperor of Greece. They voted him in, right? But then if Socrates was like, all right, let's attack Italy. If the little heads of those little city-states in Greece didn't want to, they would just say, no, fuck you. Rome says...
The real checks and balances.
Rome says, hey, we're attacking England. Nobody says no. And if they do, they die. And not saying that we die now if we say no, but like if you know, Biden was like, hey, I'm sending the army to Germany to kill Hitler, army goes. You know, no state can be like, no, you can't take the North Carolina army. If he wants to pull people out of Bragg, he pulls people out of Bragg, you know? It's just how it works. So technically our democracy is more closely towards the Holy Roman Empire for all you fun people out there. And lastly, with my thing about Adolf Hitler, I have a great book if people want to read it. It is called The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. Super exciting. Not the book Rick thought I was about to recommend.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
But that's okay. Rise and Fall of the Third Reich literally tells Hitler's story from birth to death, and it was written in like the 50s. So it may be even the 40s, like right after. Super informative. It's only like 1,000-something pages, so super light read. Took me like 6 months to read it because there's so much wealth of knowledge inside of that book. But do you have anything else on your lovely pharaohs? No?
No, I do not.
That's great.
Are you ready to move to the next thing?
Yeah. Shout out to the best pharaoh, Ramses II. Saw your gravestone in the British Museum. They stole it. If you want it back, I know where it is. But yeah, let's move into our top 5. Our lovely top 5. Rick gets to choose. I'll give you the lowdown of what we have so far. Week 1, Rick did top 5 rom-coms for Brandon. Brandon went 5 of 5, guessing number 2 through 6 because number 1 is bullshit. Number 2, Rick went 2 for 5 off of top 5 highest grossing war movies because
hey man, I went like 6 for 10 though.
Putting Saving Private Ryan as the number 3 highest grossing movie really threw a curveball at Rick. Number 3, Rick pulled an absolute bullcrappery and gave me the most expensive coffee beans by pound, and I got 1 of 5, which honestly, better than I thought.
What, you got 2?
And I got 1 of 5. Would have gotten 3 if I could have guessed the top 8, just kind of like Rick's War Movies. And then so last week I let Rick choose his destiny between something he's passionate for and something he's not as passionate for, but probably would have known a little bit more, or more common knowledge is how I explained it. And he chose the passion, and it was top 5 rafting sites, or most visited rafting sites in the world. And he got 3 of those 5. So right now the score is 5 out of 10 for Rick, 6 out of 10 for Brandon, and it's Rick's turn to pick the top 5. Before we do this, let us know in the comments what you want. We got a comment. I got a comment via text message from one of our listeners of, he thinks after a while we play to a score, like a score of like 30 for this or something. You know, we can figure that out off camera. And then he says after that we should try each week to top the most asinine top 5 list we can find, of just getting harder and harder. And he said that he thinks that would be funny because he thought the coffee bean one was crazy. And then I hit him last week with rafting, and he was like, dude, he goes, not a chance. He said he would have gotten 0 of 10. So he really likes that. So Rick, what is our top 5 we're going off so I can write it down here?
So we are going to go with, first I want to start with, I'm going to be generous and give Brandon a chance at a bonus 6th point this week. Okay? And it's not guessing number 6, like 1 through 6. Our top 5 are the top 5 MLB fields for hitting home runs. So the top 5, quote unquote, easiest fields to hit home runs. Now, this is done through a metric, through a database, not by me. I'm actually not a huge baseball fan. Someone else put this together and analyzed what fields people are more likely to hit home runs on. They have a whole thing. We can go through it off the air so Brandon knows this is legit.
I think I know the website because I look at it sometimes.
Probably.
Is it Baseball Savant?
You better close it. You better close that browser right next to you. That
I don't have any browsers. Is it Baseball Savant?
Don't remember.
Like a tealish green color looking website?
Maybe.
Or StatCast, one of the two.
It's something like that. Because it's advanced stats
so
it's something like that.
Top 5 MLB home run parks easiest.
Mm-hmm. And now
I know number 1 and 2.
Hang on, just settle down. Just settle down. The bonus point is if he can tell me the names of all the fields, not just the teams that play there. So of the top 5, he has to go 5 for 5.
Easy.
And then he has to be able to tell me the names of the fields.
Okay. So Coors Field's number 1.
It is.
All right.
Who plays there?
The Colorado Rockies.
Okay.
Fenway Park is number 2, where the Boston Red Sox play.
That is number 2. That's the most well-known one. I feel personally. Everyone knows Fenway's where home runs happen.
Yeah, I mean, we all see it. The Great American Ballpark.
Who plays there?
The Cincinnati Reds.
That is correct. Number 3 is the Great American Ballpark.
Dude, I'm going 5 for 5.
I thought you might. I tried to throw you a bone.
No, I mean, you definitely can. I think I'm going to guess. I don't know if this one's up here because I have it. It's either going to be 5 or 6, but I think Target Field is up there.
Target Field is number 5. Who plays there?
Yes, Target Field. Oh, God. Because they just changed to Target Field.
The 6th point that is at risk.
The Twins.
Okay, it is the Twins. So you have 1, 2, 3, and 5.
Okay, and then I think I have 3 strikes, so I guess I could guess both if I wanted
Hmm.
to. I'm gonna go with PNC Park, but I don't think that's right.
Who plays there?
The Pirates.
That's number 6.
Okay, that's what I figured. So the number 4 is Kauffman Stadium, where the Royals play.
That is correct. Ding, 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 ding. With 1 strike, he goes 5 for 5, knows the names of the fields and everything. It
Don't fuck
apparently
with me in
was too
baseball,
easy.
bro.
It apparently was too easy. Ooh.
So now,
I was like, this is something I feel like he could, do well at, but I wasn't sure if you'd go 5 for 5 and know all their names.
dude, easy. That's too. It's too given.
Hey man, what's the name of the field where the Texas Rangers play?
Arlington Stadium, the ballpark, the Great American Ballpark at Arlington.
Mm-mm. Man, I wish this was top 5 now.
Yes, it is. It's the Great
It
American
is.
Ball. Or no, the Great American Ballpark is oh no, Arlington Stadium's their old stadium. They moved. Okay, hold on.
The
Hold on.
For funsies, this is number 10 on the list, but I just wanted to ask him because I thought this might stump him.
Because it used to be Arlington Field because it had the white things like Yankee Stadium did. Dude, I was there. It's literally in the same parking lot as AT&T Stadium. Oh, freaking Globe Life Field.
Yes, it is Globe Life Stadium. Ooh.
Jesus. But I
Man,
wouldn't
I
know
wish that
that
was in the
because
top
there's a
five.
better that one would have got me. Wouldn't have got that 6 point.
So go ahead and add that in for the tally there.
Yeah. So I'm 12 for 15 now.
Yep,
I'll figure out something next week that you can get a bonus point off of.
there we go. And so the metric to explain a little bit is it was, I think, Baseball Savant. But I didn't want to give you certainty in case you had looked at the
No,
list.
no, no. But they have everything because they use
Yeah,
Statcast.
exactly.
So,
Yes. And
um,
so they measured like how often batters hit home runs at these parks and the same batters hit home runs at away parks. So they use like a home run differential to figure out where batters are most likely to hit these home runs. And Coors Field being number 1, a lot of it apparently has to do with the altitude, the dry air.
yeah.
Um,
One of the stats, I don't know what it stands for. It's called bacon, though. I know that that's a stat. And it's all capitals, so I know it's an acronym for something. But it's really cool. But it's this thing called Park Factor that they use, and
yes,
and
correct.
they rank it. It's called Park Factor, and they rank it, and it can be over 100. Over 100 is clearly way easier to hit home runs, and it's not a bunch over 100. Like Coors Field's like 115 or something
Yeah, it's something like that.
right around there. But Coors Field has a baseball humidifier walk-in in their stadium to make it a little bit even, because if it wasn't, the park factor would be like 230. Um,
Well, yeah, because the air is so much thinner,
yeah,
it's
no, dude,
dry,
you're a
so the
mile
humidity.
high up
Yeah.
in the air, but it's
You know what? You know what one was actually the lowest, or I think it was either the lowest or one of the lowest that I was like, that makes sense. You
probably
guess. So of those factors I just named, think of the opposite effects.
well, you would, if you're looking at altitude, you're thinking of it would either be like Arizona would be super low.
That's actually number 7 on the list. It's
Really,
easiest to hit.
yeah, it's
Hmm.
probably, it is a short stadium. Or you look at humidity and shit, and you guess Seattle.
It's Seattle. So
Yeah.
yeah, where the Seattle Mariners play is apparently way harder to hit home runs at, whether it's the dimensions of the field and or the humidity. Probably because it's always raining while they're playing. Uh, just always misting a little bit. I feel like
Yeah, but I think they have a dome.
do they?
I think T-Mobile Park's a dome, dude.
Doesn't matter.
I'm gonna
Doesn't
Google.
matter. The moisture's in the air.
Yeah,
Dallas has a dome now, and the light still affects players. That's a shout out to
dude.
all my Dallas friends out there.
Speaking of lights effect, it's not a dome. Oh, it
Oh
is.
yeah.
It can. It's a
Oh, it
retractable
is. It
roof.
isn't.
It's a retractable roof.
Probably because it rains so much there, they
Yeah.
kind of had to implement that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm fairly confident I could name all 30 MLB stadiums,
Really, all the fields.
all the fields, and who plays there.
Impressive. I couldn't have named you more than like three or four,
And
probably.
and three of them are Wrigley Field, Fenway Park, Yankee Stadium.
Maybe four then. But yes, those would have been the first three.
What's your fourth, Rick?
Um,
There's a really easy one, so maybe even five. Wonder who plays at Dodger Stadium.
there you go. I'm choosing that one now.
Go ahead, name another one.
No, I did know Chase Field is where the Diamondbacks play because there was this whole other documentary thing that I watched talking about the amenities at Chase Field. There's like hot tubs in like near the VIP suites that you can watch the baseball field from. Like it seems crazy. What are you staring at me for?
Just looking into your beautiful eyes.
Is it because I'm beautiful?
Yeah, of course.
But that's all I got for the game. What do
Those-
you got in sports,
those-
my friend?
Only one thing and one thing only. And it's the
Ooh.
only thing that fucking matters.
Oh,
Is article on ESPN. Multiple articles. Some would even say the best articles. Besides maybe the Articles of Confederation, which helped found our country. But the real USC, South Carolina Gamecocks, are ranked number 18th now after beating Missouri.
Mhm.
Article in ESPN goes, South Carolina, the most dangerous 7-3 team in the country. And I wholeheartedly believe that because we should be 8-2.
Arguably 9-1.
Very true, because we lost to LSU on bullshit and lost to Alabama by 2. We should be 9-1.
Yeah.
We are going to be, if we beat Wofford and Clemson, we have like a 70-something% chance to make the college playoffs. And we will be the first ever 3-loss team to make the college playoffs. Now, it is extended.
Okay.
It is
That's-
extended, and I know that. But it's even saying that as a 9-3 team, if we finish 9-3, we have to beat Clemson. If we don't beat Clemson, we're not going to make it. But
Yeah, correct.
as a 9-3 team, they're going to be freaking like 10-2 teams that miss out on it because of us. That are that like 12th, 11th, 12th, maybe even 10th position. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that'd be really cool. So go watch us whoop up Wofford next week. And then hopefully the week after we destroy Clemson. I think we can.
I think you guys have a
This is the
I think you guys
best.
have a really good chance.
This is the best chance we have had since. I don't know if I want to go back this far, but probably since Jeff Garcia has played at South Carolina that we have to beat Clemson. Maybe Connor Shaw. I'll go back to Connor Shaw instead of Jeff Garcia. This is the best chance we've had to beat Clemson in a long, long time.
Yeah.
And
I think this is the perfect year. I think this is a perfect year for that. Can't wait for them to make the playoffs in a really low seed, and then Ohio State get to play them, and our friendship can be over.
Yeah, especially if we win, because the way we're playing,
yeah, it will be.
The way we're playing, I feel like we can beat any team in the whole country right now. Like, I mean, to go up against LSU and Alabama and lose by a combined like 5 points, and then just to put a fucking 24-point whooping on Texas A&M like we did. I mean, if we play like we do every week or like these past couple weeks, there's not a team in the country that I would be afraid to play. I would be afraid out of everybody in the college playoffs right now that would projectedly make it. Ohio State would be the scariest team to play because I think them and Texas are the two best teams in the country right now.
top to bottom, I agree, but Oregon is scary. I mean, I got to give it to them. They gave us our
Yeah,
only loss.
but
Oregon is
but
a good ball team.
Oregon's going to Oregon. I think they're gonna pull that Oregon. They're gonna choke on all that humidity up in the Pacific Northwest.
Hey, man, they're in the Big Ten now.
Okay, my bad. I forgot that Oregon is now part of the Midwest. So,
So is UCLA.
hey, dude, SMU's about to win the ACC. So they got that going for them.
Oh, I hate conferences.
But what do you have? That's the only thing I have. Go Cox.
Okay,
baby.
that's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So I got a question for you.
Sure.
We can run through this pretty quickly though. So I'm gonna name the division leaders right now in the NFL at the end of Week 10.
Okay.
Do you think they hold on and win their division by the end of the season? Okay, that's the question for all of them. I'm gonna go down the list.
Are we
Bills, who
talking?
are
Are we
9-2.
talking stat leaders or team leaders?
I'm talking they are currently in first place in their divisions. Do we
Okay,
think
so
they're
you're
going
talking
to
about
win their
teams. You're not
division?
talking about Joe Burrow's got the most passing touchdowns.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
okay,
no, no,
okay,
no,
okay. I wanted to pull up the correct list to look at while you talk to me.
Yeah, I got you. Here. Bills,
Yes.
9-2. Do we
Yes.
think? Yep.
Yes.
I agree. Steelers, 8-2.
No.
They just beat Baltimore.
They've played one conference game.
They beat the only team in their conference that matters.
I think Cincinnati matters a lot in this conference because even though they're 4-7, they can ruin some dreams. I think
They can, but
I think the Ravens pull it out. I don't think Baltimore lets Pittsburgh win against them again, and I think Pittsburgh goes 1-1 against Cincinnati, and I don't think Baltimore. I don't think Baltimore's already lost twice in their division, but I don't think they lose another division game. So that would mean Pittsburgh has 3 division losses, and Baltimore would only have 2. So I think Baltimore wins. But it also depends on who they play outside of the conference still, but that's fine.
Yep. But that's an interesting one. That's one I feel like that might be one of the ones that's most up for grabs between the Steelers and the Ravens. I really don't think. I think like you're right. Cincinnati has a chance to spoil it for someone, but Cincinnati's not winning the division.
No, never.
Texans 7-4.
Well, I know what my heart says.
I knew this would be a tough one for you.
If we play like we did yesterday or 2 days ago, then no, the Texans don't win. Will we play like that every week? No. We have already played the Texans twice. Texans got a tough schedule coming up. Besides their 2 other division games of the Titans and the Jaguars, they have to play the Dolphins, who's a very scary 4-6 team. They have to play the Chiefs, and then they have to play the Ravens.
I feel like the Dolphins are kind of like a Ferrari whose 2 wheels are on cinder blocks right now.
That's cool. I just need 2 wheels to work and ride it like a motorcycle, baby, for 1 week. But no, I think the Texans will win our division because we're not going to play that great. Do I think that we may be good enough to get that second wild card spot in the AFC? That's going to be tough. I think there's 3 wild card spots now.
Yes, there's 3.
Yeah, so
but one's going to Steelers or Baltimore.
Correct. And then Denver's at 6-5, we're at 5-6, and then the other team that's in it are the Chargers at 7-3. So I think we could overtake Denver and be the last spot. But I still think, because I mean, we play the Lions next week. Either we're going to beat them or they're going to score 83 points on us. And then we play the Pats. Great thing is we do play the Broncos this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then
that
we
can
play
be huge because you can control your own fate.
Exactly. So if we count tomorrow or next week as a loss to the Lions, Lions are great. They're a great team. We count next week, so we're 5-7, right? I don't know the Broncos schedule, but then we play the Patriots. Then we play the Broncos. Then we had to play the 2-8 Titans, the 2-8 Giants, and the 2-9 Jaguars. We can make the playoffs very easily. We can control, even at 5-6 right now, halfway through the season, we can control our own destiny to make the playoffs because we have a very winnable schedule besides next week. And if we win next
It's very
week,
possible to win out.
and if we win next week, by God, we are making the playoffs. Because if we can beat Detroit, nothing's stopping us. But we'll probably end up losing
Big
the
if.
Jaguars.
Big if.
We'll probably end up losing the Jaguars in week 18 or 17 and like missing the playoffs by like half a game.
Oh, that'd be rough.
That's the life of a Colts since Andrew Luck retired. That's okay.
Okay, keep going down the list. Chiefs at 9-1.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on. Yeah.
I mean, Chargers at 7-3, but I mean, Chargers are going to Charger. Chiefs play the
Similar to
Panthers.
Oregon.
Yeah, close to Oregon.
Eagles 8-2.
You know, I really liked Dallas early on in this division. Going to throw that out there. Do we like Dallas in this podcast? No. We hate the Cowboys. Dude, I think it's going to be tough with Washington. If Washington can get back on the stands, but Daniels needs to stay healthy. Brian Robinson Jr. needs to stay healthy. But the Eagles also can look like a division/conference winning team, or they look like the 2-8 Giants sometimes and still win somehow.
That's just the first quarter.
And still win somehow. I do think they're going to hold off in the division and win.
The win Thursday against the Commanders was huge. That really let us kind of, like we just said, control our fate.
Yeah,
locking up
if y'all were both 8-3, or you'd be 7-3, and they would be 8-3 right now, then that'd be tough, and I'd probably give the edge to the Commanders. But I think the Eagles are going to win.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely. Lions at 9-1. Do we think they win their division?
Maybe, because you got the damn Vikings at 8-2 somehow still, and then,
dude, how?
And then even a bigger how is how are the Packers 7-3?
Dude, I swear I blinked and they put 3 wins on the schedule.
But dude, the way the Lions are playing, I hope so. I want to see the Lions win the Super Bowl if it's not the Colts, dude. If it's not the Colts, I'm a die-hard Detroit Lions fan the entire playoffs.
It's just a blue team from the Midwest. Brandon just gets lost and starts rooting for him.
Dude, I mean, it's great. I met a guy at work today. He had a Lions hat on. I was like, hey, pretty good year to be a Lions fan. He goes, I know. He goes, my son got me a shirt for my birthday this year that goes, I was a Lions fan before it was cool. And I was like, He goes, I'm from Detroit. He goes, been a Lions fan my entire life. He goes, it's been awesome with Sanders, and then it sucked, and then it was awesome with Stafford and Johnson. And he goes, and then it really sucked again. But they're back, baby. They're back.
Yeah. I need one of those shirts that says if you weren't rocking with us, and I need the famous picture of the guy with the paper bag for the 0-16 season.
Yes.
I need if you weren't rocking with us with this, you don't rock with us now.
Exactly. But I think they pull it off. I don't think, I mean,
I see Dan Campbell handling that division.
Yeah, I mean, dude, they play us next week. I'm going to chalk that as a win. Then they play the Bears. Bears might give them a game, but that might be the triple doink game for all we know. I mean, they got a tough schedule, though, because out of conference, so they have to play the Packers again, and they play the Vikings again, and they play the Bears twice. But their other games out of conference are the Bills, 9-2, and then the 49ers. 49ers are only 5-5, but 49ers can be dangerous, especially at full health.
They can be.
So, yeah.
Falcons
Carolina
6-5.
Panthers. Carolina Panthers. Put your money on it now.
You're crazy.
I know. I want to say no. I think Tampa can turn it around and win the division. I don't think it'll be the Saints, and I don't think it'll be Carolina. I think Tampa sucks at wide receiver right now with Godwin and Evans hurt, but I think Tampa could pull this out. I want Tampa to pull this out. I don't want to see the Falcons win the division.
You don't want Kirk? You don't want Kirk to just show up and take over the NFC South?
No. No. But now, the most interesting division up next.
I don't know. NFC South is pretty interesting as far as who will win it.
Correct, but this is a six. Go ahead.
This is the last division that's up for grabs. Cardinals at 6-4 because they've already had a bye week,
and everybody else is at 5-5. The rest of the division.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say the third place team comes out and wins this division.
Who's the third place team when they're 5-5?
I think it's gonna technically the team with the third worst divisional record.
Fair, I guess.
I think Seattle.
You want to enlighten me? I don't know. It really comes down to the key players, and obviously it usually does. But I mean, we're literally talking about 1 to 2 key players on each of these teams.
Yeah.
With Gino and DK, we're talking about Kyler and Harrison. We're talking about Herbert. Oh, wrong thing. My brain went West Coast, and then I just got lost. But we're talking about key players. Okay, that's where I'm going to leave that.
Dude, don't hate on the running backs in this division, dude. You got James Conner, Kyron Williams,
yeah,
Kenneth Walker III, Christian McCaffrey. Those are all key players on those teams.
Yeah, but Caffrey, I just have a lot of concerns about his health. I understand he came back.
But I'm saying, those are key players. If all 4 of those players stay healthy the rest of the year, it's going to be a fun and interesting ride.
If all these rosters are healthy, the 49ers take it all day. But the reality is they're not all healthy.
I want Seattle to take it, baby.
I don't. I don't. I'm either fine with the 49ers taking it because I would love a playoff rematch with the Eagles and the 49ers because of how bad they embarrassed us last year. And I think this year we're in a way better place to give it back to them. But I also don't hate the Cardinals doing well. I like Kyler Murray. I don't think he's a super talented quarterback, but he is exciting to watch, and he does come up with some big plays sometimes. And I got love for the Ohio State kid, Marvin Harrison Jr. coming out. He's had a few boom games. He's had some really quiet games this season, but he's a rookie. And I would love to see him get some success on a big stage.
I agree. Yeah, that was fun. Any more sports for you?
That'll be it for me.
Nice. My last sports thing that I just thought of that I thought was interesting. All the FBS colleges, everybody that is eligible to make the college football playoffs. There are 4 teams in the FBS that all have owls as their mascot, and they all fired their coach this week. Fun little fact of the day.
Let's name these teams.
I only know 2.
Who are the owls?
Temple.
Yes. Okay.
FAU. Kennesaw State.
Couldn't have told you FAU was the Owls.
FAU, Kennesaw State, and then there's one more. But I know all 4 of them have fired their coach this year. All 4 Owls that can qualify for the college football playoffs have fired their coach this year.
Interesting.
It's fun. But
I guess they will be asking who is going to replace them.
All right, everybody. So anyway, that is the end of our podcast with arguably the worst dad joke of the year with Rick right there, who can't stop smiling because he thought that was great. It was a little funny, but
it was great.
Not that funny, but everybody, thank you for listening. If you want to get a hold of us, we have an Instagram, a TikTok, and a Gmail. We also have a Twitter, which we don't use. I'm going to keep shouting out our Twitter, even though we don't use it. And we also we are on Threads. What Threads is like a Twitter for Instagram that Instagram made. I don't know. It automatically signed me up. So I've tweeted out or threaded out a couple times. I've threaded some needles, as one would say. But yeah, if you want to follow us on any of those to keep you updated, we'll post stuff throughout the week. All of those are at SlamSwissFact, and our email is slamswissfact@gmail.com. Hit us up. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. Tell us what you hate. Tell us what you love. But most importantly, just remember your opinions don't matter. We're going to keep doing this because we enjoy it. But for all you your opinions all matter. Don't worry. For all you slammers out there, we love you. Thank you for listening. And
our one fister.
And the one fister. And if you want to be a fister, just let us know. There's a long application process that you have to fill out.
You have to be approved by the president of the Fister Club.
Yes. And if he doesn't approve you, then he's the only one. He's the only member so far. But anyway, thank you for listening, and we will catch you next week. Bye-bye.